Nijisanji is now suing aunties. So we're going to cover this story in two parts. First, just the unbiased facts, and part two will be my opinion. So to start with the facts, as you are probably aware, Nijisanji previously issued a warning saying that they are going to start legally persecuting people who harass and defame and slander their talents. Now, despite this warning, unsurprisingly, the internet continued to be the internet and absolutely trash VTubers of all ilk, including but not limited to Nijisanji's talents. This is a growing problem. I don't think anyone can dispute that the amount of hate and vitriol on the internet is ridiculous. When you have the anonymity of a username, people say whatever they want, and whatever they want is often horrible. I don't think that's controversial by any regard. So what Nijisanji has done is that they have decided to start suing people. This includes a legal request sent to the online platform to disclose the personal information of whoever is behind that username so that Nijisanji can take those people to court. Now, before they could do that, firstly, they had to prove that slandering a VTuber is also slandering a human being. And this is kind of a legal gray area in a lot of cases. Is a VTuber a fictional character or a human being? Because you can't sue for slander of a fictional character. I can say whatever I want about Batman because he's not real. So Nijisanji took it to court, and the court ruled that since these are unscripted live performers, that basically said having an avatar is no different than wearing a costume. The person within that costume is still a real human being that can be both legally protected and legally persecuted. And this actually has precedence. Now that Nijisanji has gone to court and proven that a VTuber is still a human being who can be protected and persecuted under the law, they're able to go after some trolls and actually get their personal information. Now, they don't specify that this auntie was from Twitter. They only refer to it as a free online bulletin board, but we know it's Twitter. They don't identify the username of the person who said these things. We can't really verify how many times they've said horrible things or how intense those things are, but they do provide a couple of helpful quotes where it says, "It can't be helped. You're a stupid woman," or "You're mentally immature because you don't have a mother." That's pretty black and white harassment. So now the person who is harassing this Nijisanji talent is now gonna have to defend themselves in court. So those are the facts as we know them right now. Niji is making good on their threat to start suing people for slander, and it'll be really interesting to see how this case goes and whether or not they're held legally liable for shit talking on Twitter. So now that we've got the facts out of the way, let's dive into my opinion. This has a lot of complex emotions for me personally. On the one hand, I think it is absolutely atrocious how anyone on the internet can say anything, no matter how horrible, and they can speak relentlessly with no filter, be it Twitter, be it Reddit, be it whatever. Online platforms absolutely suck at moderating, and you can report someone and whoever reviews it might decide that they're not violating guidelines even though they might have a history of being a shitty person. You can't always rely on moderation to get rid of these toxic people. And even if you do completely ban someone's online profile, it's pretty easy to just make another online profile and then continue to say horrible things. So it is, on the one hand, nice that we can actually physically, tangibly do something to try to tamp down on the amount of hate on the internet. It is good to see that there are finally consequences for people's actions. So in that regards, tamping down on the amount of hate on the internet is a very good thing, and I fully support that aspect of it. The part that I have an issue with, and the part that makes me a little bit stressed out, is the fact that a company was able to get someone's personal private information from the platform that they're posting on, which means anonymity online is not very secure. And I don't like that personally. I personally value my privacy quite a bit. I value the fact that I am able to speak on the internet as Beelzebub and not as who I actually am, because those two identities are so far removed from each other. They really have nothing to do with each other. I like the separation. I like the privacy and the anonymity. It's the entire reason I'm a VTuber, is for that anonymity. Now, granted, I'm not abusing that to be an asshole, but there's something about a company being able to dox you at any time. It rubs me the wrong way. On the one hand, it's karma, but it's also kind of like, and I'm saying this exclusively as a metaphor here, like a public execution. You know, in medieval times, there's so much crime, you just grab one criminal and then you publicly execute them to sort of dissuade other people in the public. But that one person who was executed is not necessarily better or worse than any of the other criminals that you're trying to scare. You know, the person who gets, you know, the public execution, or in this case, a lawsuit, is not necessarily guaranteed to be the most deserving. I do want there to be consequences for actions, but I want those consequences to be applied to the absolute worst people. If someone online has a large following and their hate and vitriol gets out to a lot of people, they should be held to a higher standard than just some random idiot with 5 followers who was just shit-talking a Nijisanji liver to his friends. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the idea of some random idiot online being singled out and targeted for stuff that they said online when other people have said worse and other people have much greater reach. And that's the part that bothers me about this whole story, is we don't know who is saying these hateful things. Yes, they're hateful, but are they the person with the longest history of saying hateful things? Are they saying the worst things? It matters who you persecute legally. That's the only issue I have, is how Nijisanji wields this power and who they use it against matters, and the fact that we have no idea who they're going after bothers me a great deal. So I really want to pass this question off to you. Where do you land on this issue? How do you think Nijisanji is going to wield this power? Do you think they're wielding it correctly? I really want to hear everybody's thoughts on the matter. So that's all I got for you today, guys. Bye!